Books that the world calls immoral are books that show the world its own shame. Oscar Wilde, author of The Picture of Dorian Gray. Banned books are a growing issue in schools, with more and more classical literature being banned, most recently To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, which was actually a required reading in English 1 in South Carolina schools. Books are banned because they include topics that some deem controversial or unfit for children. Banned books can protect children from harsh realities such as violence and racism. However, it can also be a way for them to learn about these tough topics in a safe and educational environment. Banning books is a hot topic for many reasons. However, banning books take away children and parents' individual liberties. The topics to remember for today in regards to banning books are the negative impacts: instrumentalizing ignorance, limiting children's critical thinking, and take away First Amendment rights. Firstly, banning books encourages ignorance and to difference and individuality. Many books are banned because parents see them unfit for their children or anyone to read. There are books that are banned for reasons such as sexual themes and language and violence. However, there are also books banned for topics that are deemed political, such as The Grapes of Wrath, which is banned for a reason such as religion. However, the message of this book was not that at all. It was to emphasize the difference between the wealthy and the poor, and also to show a politically correct way of immigrant suffrage. Another example is To Kill a Mockingbird. As Lested wrote, even though the depictions of racism are historically accurate, the book has been banned and challenged over and over because of them. Drama by Raina Telgemeier is another book. It is banned because of the LGBTQIA+ representation. Gomez states, Drama held the number 3 spot on ALA's top 10 challenged book list in 2017. And it also had the dubious honor of appearing on the 2016 list for offensive political viewpoint and the 2014 list for being sexually explicit, even though the only sexual content was the LGBTQIA+ representation. If children don't learn about these topics in books or in a safe space such as a classroom, how else are they going to learn about them? We should want students to be inclusive and consider these new norms, such as being comfortable with their sexuality. Banning books also limits critical thinking skills. Books that are controversial are what allow students to think critically. They've even been used to teach Common Core standards. A study was done in a 3rd grade classroom between 2 different teachers, and they taught the book Scooby-Doo. This book was later banned because it didn't have enough rigor to be considered educational. The students highly enjoyed this book and were even able to pick out some problematic themes with it, such as why all of the villains had a dark skin color and why Velma was often ignored because of her gender, even though she had really good points. Graf shared in this article, students engaged in close readings and intense conversation, constructed multi-genre text, and presented their work to other students. The students passed their standardized reading assessments that summer. These books not only started conversations about inequality, but also meaningful conversations with critical thinking between students. The largest political issue surrounding banned books is the matter of First Amendment rights. The First Amendment states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. Banned books highlight the issues of freedom of speech and freedom of the press. Banning books have also become the largest issue of censorship in the United States. The largest issue of the First Amendment right is the posing issue of minors being involved. The First Amendment protects the student's right to read a banned book with parental approval. This way, books are still available in schools, and parents have the legal right to control what their children are exposed to and what their children are allowed to read. The Supreme Court case Board of Education Island Trees Union Free School District versus Pico ruled that books cannot be banned simply because the ideas in the books are disliked. This is supposed to say that ideas that are deemed political or religious cannot be banned. Parents have a right to say that their child can or cannot read that book, but they don't have the right to say that no child can read that book. This case proved how banning books can be political even if it isn't intentional. Banning books is limiting many aspects of the public education system. It is instrumentalizing ignorance, which can cause students to be closed-minded. They limit critical thinking skills, which can deplete a student's educational journey. Banning books also takes away individual liberty. In regards to banning books everywhere, Klinefelter says, if decisions are reasonable in light of a library's mission and not an attempt to prevent access to an idea, libraries should be safely within the boundaries of the First Amendment. This means a book shouldn't necessarily be pulled from a school or a library just because it sparks a political idea. Next time you spot a banned book display at a school or library, think about all the individual liberties that have been taken away.